Hi there. So far, you have seen Torvalds answering your technical inquiries in a much efficient and best manner, and you have been getting the best answers to your technical questions, right? From your blogs, documents, code base, Slack messages, and more. And today, I'm going to show you something we have been working for last few months, and I'm pretty excited to show how Torvalds can, go beyond than that and not just give you steps, but actually execute it behind the scenes. And if there are any issues, try to resolve it and provide you with options. So yeah, this is like a level two software engineer, level two, I would say a support engineer. And let's say, let's look at actually in live action where I'm gonna try to install Apache Hudi on AWS, and let's see how Torvalds can help. Let me share my desktop view. Okay, let me just briefly explain what you are seeing on the screen. On your left-hand side over here, this panel is what a human support engineer would see, and he's providing oversight to Torvalds, and Torvalds is going to resolve some customer inquiries. And on your right-hand side is the customer view. The customer is Carl, and he's like being invited to a channel, and he has some questions about installing Apache Hudi on AWS, and this is his view of his AWS environment. Okay, now when interesting thing is we have a bidirectional sync. Even if you have 200 or 300 Slack channels, which we have observed in the field, many of the customers at many of the kind of like the infrastructure companies and many of the software companies and even SaaS companies kind of like provide their platinum and gold tier and even bronze tier support through connected Slack Connect channels, and that has been very fruitful. What's interesting is this provides us a segue to embed Torvalds as a kind of like an augmentation to their existing support engineers so that they could be like, 10x more productive. And in the future, when Torvalds becomes like a level 5 support engineer, it can handle everything autonomously. So this Slack Connect is totally in a bidirectional sync on Torvalds agent view, the agent or the support engineer view. Whatever messages are sent by the customer will be appearing here, and it has like a bunch of like other things that can help the human support engineer to like add tags, add and automatically like mark the status when it is resolved, and it helps them to like figure out where the conversation is located. And Slack has become kind of a system of record, but this makes it like even better. And what's more important is in an autonomous mode, it will like try to resolve the inquiries. And if Torvalds is stuck, it will ping the human support engineer, and the human support engineer can take over. Now let's get started. Okay. So I'm asking, I want to install Apache Hudi on AWS. Can you help? When Carl asks this question, it immediately pops up into the agent view. Torvalds has provided an answer. This is a bidirectional sync. You see what your customer sees, what Carl sees, and what the agent sees. So far, we had seen this already, right? It provides you the best available documentation to get started by installing cluster with Hudi, and then a bunch of steps that has been detailed here. So far, human engineers on the other side of the customer used to just navigate this, install this, and provide those options and get started. But what Torvalds is now providing us value add is like I can help installing in your environment if you can provide me with restricted IAM credentials. This is how actually professional services operate. Even at like big tier firms like Snowflakes of the world and Databricks of the world, their professional services ask you like a restricted IAM credentials to try and debug your environment and figure out what issues are. So Torvalds is like following the same route. And it's very well handled with AWS. And in AWS, you could just like have the credentials here, drop it in, And this helps the professional services team to log in and debug and see what's going on. So provided my credentials. You see all the status that there's no cluster running. Torvalds are successfully connected with the credentials. It is starting EMR with hoodie as per our request. Let's refresh and see. I don't think Amazon does push. Okay, it is starting the cluster. We gotta wait for like 3 or 4 minutes because it is actually complicated software. It installs Spark, it installs hoodie, and it takes some time to spin up the entire thing. So we gotta wait for some time. Either you can fast forward the video to a point where I can show you where it's installed, or you could wait with me. When the cluster is ready, Torvalds will automatically send the message to the customer and also to the agent. As I described, is a bidirectional sync. And that's the time when we know, okay, great, cluster created, testing now with an example. This is interesting, right? So it's not just like creating the cluster, it also tests with a relevant example as per the documentation. Now, here's the example it has tried, but the test was unsuccessful. I will search for a solution. So let's see. So yeah, after installing a particular software, what generally happens is the provider documentation says, hey, connect to the master node using SSH, and then type this command and have some sample document example, sample data set, and try the hoodie data set. And that's kind of like the hello world example of Apache hoodie, but it was not successful. On call side, on call, the customer side has said like, it has said like, I'm searching for a solution, please stand by. On the agent side, Torvalds has provided a notification. Let's see what it is. It says it needs approval. So it seems like it has found some solution based on some documentation somewhere. Let's see what it has suggested. So what Torvalds is suggesting is, okay, I'm unable to SSH to the EMR node of the user. Need to modify the security group. This is a classic AWS admin, grunt work, which AWS admins often have to do, like modifying security group permissions, etc. Now, this is interesting, right? So this is something which Torvalds can take up and free up time on the agent side. In here, it is asking us what to do. Go and add an inbound rule and SSH. And what Torvalds is telling the human support engineer is, hey, it's going to execute based on this document. Now, all the human support engineer has to do is approve, and let's say approve. And once it approves, the solution appears on the customer side, call the customer. Torvalds mentioned that it's unable to SSH, and what it has also mentioned is these are the bunch of documents you need to follow. Now here you could see the security group documented as provided, the same document which the approved by the support engineer, the human support engineer, and it has asked it to add an inbound rule. Now, what is more fascinating is Torvalds can automatically understand which security group is associated with the EMR cluster, hoodie EMR cluster we just created, right? And it provides a direct link to that specific security group so that you can directly add instead of you figuring out where it is. And what is most important is even this is the real world on-field scenario. Although you get access to the cluster, generally the IAM rule restricts you from doing anything beyond like that, like adding yourself, giving more permissions to yourself, trying to SSH into other machines. That's how even Fortune 500 companies work, right? You get a restricted access, and then if needed, it's increased. Now in here, I'm asking for SSH rule. The bot is asking towards the bot is asking for SSH access so that it can run some tests. Now the human engineer on the other side, on customer side, Carl, all he has to do is now click this specific link, customized link about his security group, go in here and add the inbound rule. Add rule, and it was about SSH, and it was specifically mentioned about having 00 as a mask. Security rule is done, and what we do is okay, done. We tell Torvald, like, we have processed what is requested by them. Torvalds is now starting its own autonomous mode again, connecting to the master node using SSH, right? Now it is executing this commands which was present in the documentation. And what's also interesting is it's not just executing blindly, because, for example, if you execute this, you're going to get an error, but it is like generating a data set, a dummy data set using synthetic data, and it's adding, and it's in connecting. Okay, testing complete, and who do you set up in your AWS environment? Now you can revoke my AIM access. Now you can go back to the security group and remove the SSH access, the security group, and etc., and you're done. And that's basically it. I can say sounds good. They ask, like, is there anything you can help with? No, thanks. And it also completes your CSAT survey from 1 to 10. And so far, I like what I saw. So I think even in the field, this would be impressive. So I'm going to give 9. The customer gives 9. So that's it, guys. So we saw like what we can do as a level 2 support engineer. Once we get your agentic workflows and everything in page by page, this could be done for your entire software stack. And it's impressive that the human support engineers and human engineers can be doing something much better than just doing the grunt work of arranging security groups and spinning up clusters, hello world examples, and so on. Yeah, this does reduce the time to resolve and also the time to first hello world, which is like kind of like a KPIs, which so many of our design partners have mentioned is important for them. Thank you, folks. Thanks for watching this video. See you soon.